one sad piece for our staff right now with having Calbert here today is Benny Seltzer is no longer the best player on the coaching staff. That's a tough day. But in our 4-on-4 games that we'll play for auctions and charities just got a little bit better. The price of those should probably go up. But in all seriousness, I go back to everything at Indiana is how you come up in this program, is how people perceive you on the outside. And up until 3 years ago, I was one of those outsiders that looked at it with great respect and always looked at Indiana as something different. And Calbert Cheney was a huge part of that. And as he played here, and as Indiana won, and he was such a big part of it, it always registered with people in the basketball world and certainly people outside of Indiana that there was so many special things going on here, and a guy like Calbert's a huge part of that. But then certainly following him throughout his career as an NBA player. So needless to say, when you become the head coach and you get a chance to meet him and then spend some time with him, and then more importantly become a friend, I think it speaks volumes for the character of him. And one thing that always stood out to me our first year here was how willing Calbert was to come back and give back to this program at a very tough time where leadership had to come from the past because we just didn't have people here that understood what it was all about. And one of the great highlights, and there weren't a lot of highlights that first year, but one of the great highlights is that there were 6 different occasions that Calbert came back, whether it was to a game, whether it was for practice. He could occasionally practice with the team as part of the rules, so when he would come and do that, the impact that he would have on these guys on the court or in the locker room. He made a road trip with us. He appeared at some alumni events with us, but he made some comments when he was in French Lick that always stood out to me, and it's this: Indiana is probably the best basketball program in the country, if not the world, and that's what it's all about for me. And when you've got somebody that has the background, has the respect nationally that he has had, and he feels that way about his alma mater, well, at some point in time, you hope you're going to get a chance to connect and have him become a part of this, and that's exactly what's happened now. And we are very fortunate to add him to this staff. We had a job opening come about that we didn't see coming when Drew Adams left to go to New Mexico and to play, or I should say not to play, but to work for Steve Alford, a guy that he played for at Iowa. But it opened up a door when that happened to bring Calbert back here. And it was certainly Calbert's choice with his family, and he knew that we wanted him when that opportunity came. And needless to say, we are extremely, extremely excited to have him join this family that he never left. He might have been away for a while, playing in his career and doing his things, but he never left this family. And now to have him be a part of this on a day-to-day basis, I give you Calbert Cheney.
Well, I appreciate the kind words, Coach. Coach Tom, couldn't say it any better. Indiana, to me, is one of the greatest programs in the world, if not the country, if not the world. And for me to be able to come back, I really want to thank Tom for considering me to come back. He gave me a call about a month and a half ago, and asked me if I was interested. And I was, it was an easy decision for me because this is where I always, this is where I played. This is where I've had some great years here, and even when I was playing in the league, or when I was enjoying retirement, or even when I was assistant coach at Golden State, I would always watch Indiana play. And I want to thank Coach and the coaching staff for establishing a great foundation. We all know that this program has been through a lot over the past 5 to 10 years, and for Coach Crean and Tim and Benny and Steve coming here and provide such a great foundation of this program is excellent. And that's a big reason why I wanted to come back here and try to contribute and do whatever I could to help. And it's a wonderful situation, I think. My family and I really do appreciate Tom and everybody for like I said, for considering us to come here and be a part of this, and we really, really appreciate it. And hopefully I can bring some experience, some knowledge to this team and help them to grow as players and as people. Thank you very much.
We'll open up to questions, but I just want to make a couple more comments. It really fit with what we're trying to do here. And we need more people like Calbert. We need more players like Calbert, obviously. The ones that we have in this program right now are going to be benefited greatly by the presence of him, by his leadership skills, his mentoring skills, his ability he knows exactly what it takes to get where a great deal of them want to go. But he also knows exactly what it takes to be successful at the places that they have no idea that are out there, and what this real world is like, what your education can do for you, what great business sense, what a work ethic, all those things can bring to you. And I think he's just going to be a huge, huge part of the program now, and certainly with the players that are here, and certainly with the players that are coming down the road. And a big, big part of Calbert, to me, if you had to sum it up, is determination. And that's a huge, huge part of our program right now. If there's one word that I want to describe where we need this program to be inside of what the players have in their minds and hearts and abilities day after day, it's a determination. Determination on both ends of the floor, a determination in the classroom, a determination to be successful people, to represent the university, to represent the state, to represent their families in a really, really good way, but determined to make things different, to impact Indiana. And again, that's what Calbert has done for so long, and that's what we think he's going to do in this program, joining what I already felt was the best coaching staff in the country. And they're never going to be shy about saying that. And I think when you add Calbert to that, you just make it that much better. So we'll turn it over to questions now for either one of us, and then there'll be time, JD, in the back or outside to do more sidebars and things of that nature. Okay.
Calbert, when you left IU all those years ago as a player, did you think a day like this would come? Did you think that you might end up back here in some capacity?
Well, I mean, yeah, I really hadn't thought about it, but I really have thought about the fact that, yeah, maybe someday I might want to become a coach, whether it be the NBA level, maybe whether it be the college level, maybe whether it be the high school level, middle school level. You know, because I really enjoy teaching. I really enjoy trying to transfer some of the knowledge that I've had over the years to other players and help them grow, not just players, but as people. And that's how I was raised, and that's how I was taught. And I think it's only fitting to only want to give that type of knowledge to other people, other kids. So that's yes. But here in the beginning, it really never crossed my mind.
Calbert, what did it mean to you just to get like a call like that from Tom after just the way things went down at Golden State, I guess?
It was great. I mean, Tom and I have always established a communication ever since he got here. We've always talked. We always text. We always check on one another, see how each other's doing. And I really relish that. I really appreciate that, because he's always reached out, and not just to me, but he reaches out to all the other past players, and that's what separates Tom from a lot of coaches in this country. He could have easily, did his own thing, but like I said, this is what Indiana is all about, tradition, and he understands that. And so when I got a call from him, it was great. It was great, and when he extended the job offer to me, I mean, how can you say no? The fact that you get to come here and help out, contribute any way you can to the program, try to help make it better. I mean, and the fact that you get to come back to your alma mater and be here, that's a bonus for me. That's great.
Calbert, what kind of...
Can I add one thing to that? Yeah, I think it's important, I don't want to get lost in this, is that he is a very, very good basketball coach. And that's big for us. There's no doubt about that. I don't think there's any question that if he chose to stay in the NBA, he could have done that. And certainly talking to the people at Golden State, like his general manager, Larry Riley, getting to know Keith Smart this year a little bit, and talking to him about Calbert even before the job became available. And then certainly Jerry Seasting's one of my best friends in the world, and he really couldn't say enough good things about Calbert. And I think Calbert's touched a lot of people in the basketball world that would surprise you. He's got a lot of respect, and I think he's got a tremendous future in coaching. And the term rising star gets used a little bit too much, I think, in basketball. He's already been a star as a player, and this is the next part of his journey in basketball and in life, is to coach, and he's got outstanding talents in those areas, and we're going to utilize them within the rules the best that we absolutely can.
Calbert, what kind of impact do you hope to have with the players? And Tom, also, what kind of impact do you want him to have?
Like I said, I just want to come in and contribute the best way I can. And, you know, like I said, all the knowledge and experience that I've accumulated over the years, you know, you want to try and transfer that to the guys. Like I said, whether it be on the court or off the court. You know, say you want them to strive. You know, one thing when I was here, when we played under Coach Knight, he had a thing up on the board that said, play hard, play smart. And you play hard and you work hard, not just physically but mentally, and you be smart. And whether it be on the court or off, and that's what it's all about. You want them to play hard, be determined, be willful, have a tremendous heart when you're out there on the court, when you get between those lines. That's what it's all about. You don't give an inch, and you don't give an inch off the court as well when it comes to life. And that's the type of stuff I'm going to try to see if I can maybe, you know, give that type of knowledge to them and that experience. And that's what it's all about. That's what it's all about to me. And then when it's all said and done, when they all, some of them might go on to play in the NBA. Some of them might go to play in Europe. Some might not play at all. But just make sure that they're prepared and they're ready to go once they leave here.
I think there's been so many different players and managers that have come through Indiana that have had a great career in basketball in the coaching area. And this is the time that it really fit for us, because there's no question that when you come to Indiana and you follow it like I always did, you can't learn enough about it. That's why it's so great to have, I see Bob Hamill in the back, to be able to talk to him, to be able to talk to Tim Garl, who's lived it, Dr. Rank, Dr. Allfeld, all these different people that have been a part of it on a daily basis. But now to have somebody in here that did it, and did it at a very high level, and can bring a lot of those ideals and help us. Chris Reynolds has been a big part of that for us. I don't think it's any secret that they've got such a great friendship, and because they're cut really from the same cloth, and how they feel about the game and how they view things. And I think, to me, when you look at Calbert, what he brings immediately, we talked about the determination, but there's no question he's a guy that's very talented, but he always worked very hard to go above and beyond what anybody ever thought he was going to be as a player. I mean, to the point of obviously being the all-time leading scorer here and in the Big Ten. And the thing that I like about him in coaching, that I think serves him very well, is he's got a very energized attitude with an edge to it. And when he has spoken to our team in the past, as a former player coming back, or he's been on the practice floor, or he's been with us, there's an edge to Calbert, and you've got to have that. And I mean that with all sincerity, and I mean that with all respect. This is not a business, this is not a job for people just to come in and look around and not get involved. And you've got to have an attitude about you. And that's exactly what he has, and that's exactly what I think he's going to help transfer to the players as we go through this transformation process that we're going through. And when you look at it and say, we need people like Calbert in the program to be successful, who better than to know what that looks like and to help make them be that way than him?
Tom, you mentioned before, do whatever he can within the rules. What are the rules for this position? What all is he allowed to do for you guys? What's he not allowed to do?
Well, we'll stay within the rules like we always have with this, and at the same time, utilize him in every capacity that we can. I think he's going to be a great part of our coaching staff, not just with what he does for the players. And certainly there's ways to utilize him in practice without him being on the floor. That's the one part that he cannot actually be an on-court coach per se, of going through the drills and things of that nature. And I'm sure it'll take a little getting used to for that, because that's one of his areas of strength. But there's still a lot of different ways to work through that in the sense of what he can bring to us out on the court in practice, and the observations that he can make, and the observations that he can make for players. And it's going to be a great tool for him to learn how to do that without actually being able to do some of the hands-on things that he might be used to doing. But certainly he's going to be a huge part of recruiting on campus. He can't go off campus and recruit. He's not a guy that can be making phone calls, but with where our recruiting's at and where we're presently at, as far as with players and where we're at location-wise and the ability to get players on this campus, I think he's going to be a huge part of that. It's going to really take our recruiting up in those areas of just the on-campus experience for players. And so I'm going to get off that golf cart a little bit more and let Calbert take them on the golf cart. That'll be a whole other level of, wait till you start doing that. Okay, it'll be a whole other level of knowledge he'll get. But to me, we'll do everything we can do, stay within them, but just having him here, having his presence here, and getting his insights into things. And as far as where he sits on the bench, it'll be either right up at the front or it'll be by the players. That part of it I haven't dove into enough to exactly know with the rules on that right now, but we'll stay within him, and at the same time we'll utilize him 100%.
How did you guys meet? I mean, did you meet once you took the job, Tom, or had you guys met before?
I coached against him, but I mean it was in a GA situation. I think it was just that summer. Right?
Yeah, it was that summer. I think it was I think it might have been in Frenchland, right?
Yeah, and then I went to see him when he had his event in Evansville, and I went when he had Coach Knight speaking there. I got to spend some time with him there. The big thing to me was when you get to know somebody is when they come with you. And he traveled with us, and he'd come on campus, and he'd just be a part of it. And that's one thing that I think separates Indiana in a lot of ways, not only Calbert, but so many of the people that he played with and so many other people that played here. When they come back, and I got a chance to really witness this working for Coach Izzo at Michigan State when Magic Johnson and people like that would come back, it meant something to them. There's no, hey Calbert, will you tell them this, that, and the other thing? They take care of it themselves. They have a feeling about being here and a feeling about what it takes to be successful here that you can't put into your own words, so you just let them do it. And when we got him on campus, it was awesome. I mean, it was great for all of our staff. It was great for the people that were around. It was great for the people that had been a part of the days with him to see him come back. But it was especially beneficial to the players that were in the program to have somebody with this presence. When our players found out he was coming, you know, they're not going to run around maybe and hey, coach, great job, and you could see the smiles in their faces, you could see the excitement. I looked at them closer when we announced it at our father-son camp the other day than I did all the fathers that were excited that he was back, and there's a real joy to them. Now, we'll see how they respond when he starts getting after them about certain aspects, but there's a real joy to them knowing that somebody like Calbert is a part of their staff going through this with them.
When the position opened up, were you hoping that you could bring in a former player to fill it?
I didn't. I knew the criteria that we wanted to fill when Drew left. And Calbert, it wasn't the first time I'd ever thought of it. Calbert has always been somebody. Rick Greenspan brought it up, maybe our first meeting when I first got here as head coach. But the time wasn't right for him in those situations, whether it was just going into retirement or then it was going into the NBA with Golden State. But the most important thing is to develop a relationship with him so if that day ever comes, that it makes sense, and at the same time respect him and his family enough that if it's not right, then it's not right. And they just happened to be, at that time, if he would have chose to come now, it wasn't going to stop me from maybe pursuing him down the road. But the fact that he did choose to come meant that the time was right for him and his family. And that was the most important thing. This is not a situation where you take somebody and we'll try to work him into what we're trying to do. This is where you know what you need, you know what you want, and he was the best candidate for it. And it just happened to work out.
Have you talked to heard from any of your former teammates or anything since you've taken the job?
Oh, yes, I've heard from Allen, Henderson, Brian Evans, Randy Whitman, Keith Smart. Heard from a lot of guys. Like I said, it's a great feeling to be in. It's a tremendous feeling and a tremendous honor to be back. Here at Indiana University and on campus. Like I said, I couldn't ask for a better opportunity than what Coach has given me here, and I really do appreciate it once again.
You've always been real welcoming to the former players anyway. Having the leading scorer here, how much does that even make it more welcoming for the guys?
Well, I don't look at it like that. That's a huge part of it, but this is a situation where the character and the person that he is and the family that he has overrides the talent that he played with. And that says a lot when you consider the talent that he played with. But I mean, I did my homework too in the sense of, okay, this is a high profile thing. This is a former player that had a lot of success. The only person I talked to that could shed any light on it for me was Bill Self. So I called him and talked to him about the whole process of him bringing Danny Manning in. Because it's the same thing to me. When you bring in a player like Danny Manning to Kansas, you bring in Calbert Cheaney to Indiana, it's the same deal. And so that was really the only person I wanted to check and see how that went for them, what kind of situation and transition period they went through, all those types of things. Each person is different, but it was unlike anything that we had done, but it's been easy. And I think the bottom line in any relationship starts with the trust and respect that people have for one another. Then you don't have communication gaps. Then you don't have agenda gaps. You don't have any of those types of things. And his love for Indiana, his care about this program and university in this state, you look at what he's done in Evansville. I mean, look into the money that he's helped raise in that city. And you get an idea of what this guy has been about that didn't even have anything to do with Indiana University. And you get a chance to see the values of him. He came up for an interview, and we cut it short so that he would have time to make sure he went home and saw his mother. That's a big deal to me. I mean, that's a really big deal. It's just part of his life, but to me, that's a big deal because I would do the same thing. I would do the exact same thing. And again, when you have a situation like that and you have somebody that's unique like that, you're just looking at it and saying, okay, this person really fits everything that we're trying to do. Now let's help him grow in the area of coaching college basketball, the business of college basketball. Well, he helps us grow in the areas that he's real strong in.
Calbert, I know you don't want to get ahead of yourself, but do you see this as maybe a first step toward maybe one day becoming a bench coach here?
I don't really look at it like that. I try not to look into the future like that. You know, I just said I'm here now. I'm all about what I'm trying to do now, and that's, like I said, bring some, like I said, experience and knowledge to this thing and to these guys, and like I said, learn from Coach Tom Crean and the rest of the staff, and like I said, just grow, and whatever happens after that, you know, that's fine. But right now, like I said, I'm all about this Indiana University, this basketball program. That's what it's all about to me right now.
What were your responsibilities last year with the Warriors? Were they
I
all
was an
similar?
assistant coach. Yeah,
I mean, what were your day-to-day responsibilities? Were they all similar to what
we
you
all,
do here?
we all had. I had shooting guards, small forwards. Those guys, work with those guys on a consistent basis. Toward the end of the year, I was more into the preparation part of it. You know, hustle stats, all that type of thing. Those type of things. So it was a great experience for me. I really enjoyed working with Keith. He's an excellent coach, and I hope he lands somewhere. I think he will land somewhere this summer and at the NBA level. So, but I enjoyed working with him and working with Jerry Seasting and working with Robert Wardan, Lloyd Pierce. Stephen Silas is now with the Charlotte Bobcats. He went over with his dad. Larry Riley was great to me. He's our general manager. Travis Schlenk, who was our director of player personnel, they were great to me. It was a great experience, and I really liked that experience. 2 years ago, I was in the front office, and I really enjoyed that. But I think the fact that I was able to go down to the court and be on the bench and help and teach those guys, I think that was what I really wanted to try and do. And like I said again, I'd like to thank Tom for extending the opportunity for me to come here and try to help with this situation.
I know you've kept a close eye on the program over the past couple of years. What does the team have to do to be successful or enjoy the success that they are looking for?
They have to, like I said, it's all about will and determination. It's about heart. It's about not giving an inch out there on that floor. When we played here, we were a very confident group because we knew that like I said, we had the heart, we had the desire, we wanted to win. And I'm not saying that they don't want to win. I'm not saying that. They want to win. But there's certain things you have to do to get there. And whether it be, you really have to be, to me, and another thing that I've learned is like when you go out and you practice is where all the blood, sweat, and tears starts. All right, and then when you get to the games should be easy. So where you learn and where you practice, and when you go to practice and you go out there and you learn, that's where it all starts. And so then the game should be easy. Winning basketball starts at your work ethic, where your work ethic starts. And when you have that work ethic, when you have that mental preparation, all those things put together, then that's winning basketball. And then all of a sudden you're winning conference championships, and all of a sudden you're winning national championships, and you're competing for national championships every year. And that's what you got to have.
Tom, you mentioned having a conversation with Bill Self about Danny Manning. What did you get from that, I guess? What did Bill tell you about the transition and just what you have to do?
I think it was very smooth. Again, it's a different situation, but just in going through that, and I think they really based it, built on what was most comfortable for him, for Danny, and in the sense of the transitioning into the recruiting role and things of that nature. So those to me, that was just one thing that crossed my mind in the process, to just check on that and maybe go through a little bit of the timeline of how they work through things and built it up. And because again, I mean, coaching is coaching, but when you're switching levels, and at the same time you're making that transition still from being a player into, you want to make it the best for him as well. And it's a great time to be here in this. It really is, because our academics are moving in a great direction. Obviously, we feel good about where we're headed in the recruiting. We feel good about the young players and the way they're developing and working in this program. And what you're trying to do is get somebody that can come in here and help make it even better. And the bottom line is, no matter what his title is, no matter what NCAA legislation says, there's no legislation against the guy having the ability to tell people the truth and what it takes to get better. And to me, that's the most important aspect in all this.
Calbert, have you talked to Coach Knight since you accepted the job?
No, it's been a while since I've talked to him. The last time I did talk to him, you know, it's great. You know, he's doing well. You know, he's enjoying his ESPN analyst position. You know, he's just enjoying life. But I haven't talked to him.
Anything else? Okay.
All right, thank you.
Thanks.